Welcome to Give Me Hope with your host and author, Johanna Vendel. Come join the conversation as Johanna focuses on sharing impactful personal narratives of loss. Her platform provides a safe space for individuals to express themselves, find comfort, and build connections as they navigate their grief journey. So now, please welcome the host of Give Me Hope, Johanna Vendel.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna. I am on YouTube if you would like to subscribe to my channel. And I want to just say that I have an amazing lady that I am going to interview today, Vernae Taylor. She is an author that likes to write poetry, and we will hear a little bit more about her. So let's welcome Vernae. Good day, Vernae. Welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are and what you are all about?
Yes. So thank you so much again. And I'm so happy to be here with Give Me Hope with Johanna. So thank you so much. But again, yes, like she said, my name is Vernae Taylor. I am Jersey bred, currently in Columbus, Ohio, but I am an international bestselling author, like she said, a performance artist, and a coach and speaker. And my most recent works that you'll see here behind me on my backdrop are my poetry works, but I do a lot of self-help and women empowerment at the core. But we are going to be talking about where my story started today with one of my books, Letters to My Father.
Yes, that is amazing. It's always nice to know where your story starts, because with every author, something must have happened for you to get the thought of starting to write something, Do you want to start with your first book that you've ever written and tell us how you came about to do that?
Yes. So I think like a child, we all have like a list of all the things that we want to do, right? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always knew that I wanted to at some point write my autobiography. I didn't know how that was going to come about, but I was given an opportunity. I don't know if a lot of people know Johnny Wimbury. We know the name Les Brown. I had an opportunity to be a part of a collaborative book, right? So we know it as an anthology. And I was able to give a piece of my story there, almost like a precursor to everything that would come after. And that was Breakthrough. And that was in 2019. I didn't tell a single soul that I was a part of this project until the books were arriving at my doorstep. And what I loved about this project is it gave a preview to my life, where I grew up, my family dynamic, some of the things that I believe shaped who I am today, but also shaped this internal dialogue that I would have with myself, and then later on with God about what my purpose was. And so I ended my chapter and the book, ironically, with I'm still breaking through, and I hope you do too. So it was a to be continued in the beginning of my story.
Wow. And what is the book's name?
Breakthrough. It's
Breakthrough.
called Breakthrough.
Let's see.
Breakthrough.
Breakthrough. And your story that you wrote in there, is it more a personal story that you just
it's definitely biographical
to write, that just kind of inspired you because of your life?
Yes, absolutely. It was definitely biographical. It was, again, because I always knew I wanted to do my autobiography. I didn't know how I was going to get my story out there. I wanted to kind of introduce myself to the world. And in doing that, I started from the beginning, how I grew up in New Jersey, how I came to be raised by my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. I spoke about my mother and my father, some of their struggles, and our dynamic with myself and my brother. We're the only siblings, and then me being the only girl at the time. So all of those things, and then shaping how I got into, finding my purpose and finding what I believe to be my assignment here. And that started my entrepreneurial journey. That started my author journey. And we're talking maybe 15 publications later that I've been a part of, that has brought me to to where I am now. So
Wow,
thank you
that
for
is
asking.
amazing. Hey, that is amazing to hear. It is definitely very inspiring, to know where a person comes from and where they end up on, because it's unbelievable how life can sometimes take us into different directions. And if we don't take that chance that comes up, being in a book with a few other people as well, telling your story and things like that, you should always keep your ear open for when things like that arise and take a chance and just do it, hey?
Yes, I love that. Yes, taking a chance. I absolutely did take a chance and a risk not telling anybody because obviously my family members were in it. They didn't sign up for it. But my grandmother, my late grandmother, Minnie Taylor, who you'll hear a lot about in a lot of my books, she is my inspiration. She's always been my why. We lost her in 21. She was the very first reader of this book. When I put it in her hand, she read it from cover to cover, as well as the other book that I wrote in honor of my father. So it is a very special project.
Wow. So how old were you when you started to live with your grandmother?
So, I was very young. I was still in diapers. So, still recovering and discovering a lot of what happened to, that nucleus of a family and why we came to be with my grandmother. I love that my brother, he's like a historian. It's like he locks all of these memories and pictures and details in his mind. As for me, it's a bit of a blank. And so when I became an author, a published author for that matter, it opened the door to a lot of dialogue. Okay, it's like, what happened here? And why were we doing this? And at what stage was I here? And how old was I? And so all of these questions came about. And I loved that we were able to have those conversations because a lot of times families are not having conversations or hard conversations as to, well, why aren't mommy and daddy together anymore? Or why were they divorced? And when were they married? And where were we living? And so all of those questions I have uncovered over the years as I became an entrepreneur and a published author.
Wow.
Yes.
So the entrepreneurship that you are in, what do you do, if I may ask?
Yes, of course. So naturally, what happened once I did 2019 is when I launched Breakthrough. Shortly thereafter, in 2020, we're actually the 5th-year anniversary of Letters to My Father that we'll talk about a little bit later. I launched that book in honor of my father, along with a lot of others during the height of the pandemic. So between 2020 and 2021. And subsequently, because of the subject matters of these books, right? One being about grief and loss, a lot about the empowerment of women and uplifting of women. And then, of course, the racial unrest that we were dealing with and speaking about the Black experience in America, all of those things. People wanted more, right? They wanted to talk more about it. They wanted more information. I think we definitely needed to open the conversation about grief and loss. And so subsequently, I became a coach. So I was performing masterminds surrounding grief and loss. I was providing support one-on-one as a coach to a lot of people that were dealing with the same things, whether it was a loss of a parent, loss of a child, even just the grief of an ending of what you envisioned your life to be can give
Yes.
a lot of grief and loss. So I became a coach. And then, of course, when I would be asked to come and speak about my book, I then became a speaker. So I was really excited about that, where I could come, tell my story, have a Q&A with the audience, and allow people to, to ask questions about, oh, well, how did you do this? Because being self-published, it can be difficult. It can be intimidating. I know there's a lot of people that would love to write a book, but they may never do it. So I would also work on that as well. So those are some of the things that I would say that I like to do.
Wow.
And yeah.
And if you talk about grief and loss, how many people have you lost?
Oh my gosh,
Is it
Joanna,
direct family?
it is unbelievable. Now I would say my father, that was 2011, the first time I ever experienced deep grief, like at my doorstep, right? Because I think a lot of times we've dealt with death maybe in a distance. where it's like, oh, maybe a friend, maybe someone in the neighborhood, maybe someone that your parents knew, but they were older. You didn't have a direct relationship with them. But
Yes.
there was a direct correlation to my lifeline, my image, my identity when my father died at 57. Okay. Extremely young, didn't even scratch the surface of his life and his potential. And it opened up a lot for me, good and bad.
Yes.
And I would say from that point on, that same year, I lost my pastor. 2 years next, I lost my mentor, her daughter. And it seemed like through 2020, 21, especially during the pandemic, even when it wasn't related to what we know as C-19, we're not going to say the name, I was losing people every day, daily, people that I was in close proximity with. And it's funny that you asked, because even now, I've just lost two recent people that I was just with on a travel. I was just with during the holidays. Another person I just spoke to on the phone months ago. So that grief, I've had a really personal relationship with grief.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I can definitely say that grief is definitely something that is part of my life as well.
Mm.
And I don't know how much you know about me, but
No, I'd love to know more.
personally, I have lost my entire direct family members, my mom, my dad, three sisters, and my brother before I turned to the age of 46. My mom was the oldest of everybody. She was only 58. So everybody else was younger than that. My dad was 44. My little sister was just 43. My oldest sister was 48. My big brother was 51. And then my twin sister, we were 23 when she passed away.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I definitely know about grief and deep grief and how to just I was at a stage where I almost had all different stages of grief at once, because you get over one a little bit, you're getting better, and then someone else die and you go back to the first stage, but then you are maybe at the third or fourth stage with this person. And eventually I think there was a time between 2020 and 2024 before I wrote my personal autobiography as well, just to get all of that out of me.
Yeah.
I wrote my book, Life Think Again, right there, which I
Mhm.
am also a International Impact Book Award winner.
Yeah. Yes. I see the award.
And it tells the complete story of how all my family members has died. I will also put the link in with at the bottom of Vernae's description above the video. So if you go all the way down, you'll see the link for my book as well, if you are interested
Yes.
to know how my story ended.
Yeah.
But that was only the end of a new chapter. That is
Yes.
how we should look at life,
Mhm.
as the end of a new chapter, because what happened yesterday, we cannot change, we
Right.
cannot get back. So we have to start with a new chapter, we have to start with a new page.
Mhm.
And to do that is very difficult. Um, and you said that you were also involved with grief and grief speeches and things like that. I actually just signed up to be a grief counselor at our church
Oh,
with
awesome.
the grief share
Congratulations.
program. So I am looking forward to that as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
enough
it's
of
difficult.
me.
Yeah. It's
Yes.
challenging. Yeah.
Oh,
Helping
it was
navigate someone
it was
else.
very challenging, yes. And I think this is my purpose in life, is to help people tell their story, and tell it, because when you tell it, you feel better. And
Mhm.
when it is out of you, sometimes you just feel like you feel a little lighter, and you can go on with life again. But
Yeah.
tell us a little more about your second book, your the letters to your father, you said.
Yes. So letters to my father. And it basically it's a great segue from what you were just talking about, the stages of grief. It's 7 steps of healing from the loss of a parent. And the great thing about that is even people that have not lost a parent read this book, and it was great value to them because it got them to thinking about, okay, how have I lived my life? Am I living my life fully? To your point, am I focused on yesterday? Am I not planning for the future? What does my, tomorrow look like? All of those things is what I had to come to terms with when I had that devastating first loss of my life with my father being 57. It allowed me to think about, okay, what do I really want? Who am I really? Apart from just being his daughter, apart from whatever dreams he had or dreams deferred, what do I want to do with my life? And I failed to say that also subsequently, while that was ending, a nearly 10-year relationship was ending. So my idea of the world and how I was going to show up, whether I was going to be a mother and a wife, that image and that identity was then shattered at the same time, simultaneously to me approaching my 30th birthday. So it was so pivotal. And as I began to ask questions, as I began to, get myself involved in therapy, I leaned on my pastor for quite a bit, and then of course I lost her suddenly. But I also leaned into my faith of understanding, well, there is another side of this, right? If I can make it over, right? It's like if we can get through, and that's why I always started this whole movement of breakthrough, because that's where it started.
Yes.
If I can break through with the breakdown, I had a breakdown, but as long as I continue to keep moving, I can rest, I can pause, I can cry, scream, shout, but as long as I keep moving at whatever pace I need to, that I will make it over. And from that point, it opened up the floodgates to who I would become.
Wow. You see, and also when people read stories like your book and my book, and they've never experienced that close loss of someone, I think what they can then take from it, and what I would like to tell them to take from it, is to appreciate life for what we have today, because life is short. We do not know when we will be taken, So people have no idea how blessed they are if they are maybe 57 or 60 years old.
Yes.
Still,
my grandmother was almost 92.
Yes. And if they are that age and they still have their mother and father, that is blessed. There's nothing else you can say. When I signed up for this grief share, I had to speak to my pastor at church about it. And I have not met this pastor yet because he's at our other church in the other city. We have 3 churches all around in our area. Yeah. And I've never met him. And he connected with me on by phone and said that he heard that I'm interested in grief share. First, I just wanted to go and share my story, or just go listen and see how I can just help myself. That was before I started to write my books. And I never got to go because every time the city is too far, and it's like I just didn't have the time during the middle of the day to go to a grief share group. And then I started to write my book. But when he met me, he saw, like, my word, this woman is so young. How can she help people who have been through grief? And the first words that he asked me was, so if you can maybe tell me, have you ever experienced grief? And I said, well, I've lost my dad when I was 19. And he's like, oh, wow, but that's years ago, So he still didn't realize that I have had such tremendous.
Yes, such trauma losing all those people.
And now I am strong enough that I actually want to help other people and lead a group, It just shows you. So what I am trying to say is appreciate life. Because you never know, if you're looking at someone, that someone has actually lost their entire family and must now stay strong, and this is
And
why
keep living.
I'm doing what I'm doing. So you want to tell us a little bit more about your book, your letters for your dad, and then
Yes.
also show us how the book looks. And
Yes.
you said that you have a trailer of the book.
Yes,
So
I do. And I got to figure out
there
a
you
right
go.
position for this. My goodness,
Slowly, just
we did this before and suddenly
it's
I'm
fine. We
forgetting.
will just show the picture quickly.
So, Letters to My Father, 7 Steps to Healing from the Loss of a Parent. And this honors my father. To tell you a little bit about him, my father, Alexander, my nephew, my brother's son, is named after him. He was a carpenter. He could fix anything. He loved progressive jazz.
Wow.
He was a wise guy, walked around the city, and everybody just loved him. And he was beloved by so many people. And I believe that's where I got my impeccable penmanship from, my love of poetry. As he and my mother met, I believe it was at like a cafe, or let's say open mic, what we would call the open mic poetry night. Yes. And my mother, a singer who both my brother and me got our musical and entertainment abilities and capabilities from. But it takes you through the different stages. And for me, it wasn't even something intentionally that I was looking to do. I didn't realize I had been using a spiral notebook. I still have to this day an old spiral notebook that's literally hanging on by a thread, where I would go whenever I was mourning him. I would go to that notebook, whether I wanted to write a poem, or I wanted to write a letter to him, or I wanted to write a story, and imagining who he would have become, had he still been here. The times that, last time we were together, I think we were at one of the restaurants, Five Guys. I would go back there. His favorite were hamburgers. I would eat his hamburgers. He loved jazz. I would listen to his, the music that he loved. And as I was going through these steps, what I did was I took all of that I had in that spiral notebook, and I basically transformed it into a guide. And I broke down acknowledging the pain, accepting that it can trigger many different emotions, right? Like we talked about. For me, a lot of my grief, it's triggered and it lives in the anger. The anger of me not being able to control this thing, to change this thing, to make it what I wanted it to be, right? Not being able to save him. Understanding that the grieving process is unique to you, right? So, like you said, you were telling your pastor, oh, I lost my father at 19. He's looking at you like, okay, well, you were 19. So what? No, it's different. It's unique to you, because you will never, ever forget what it was like as a teenager at that time and at that stage and age, having lost your lifeline. It's almost like losing an arm. You learn how to use the other arm, you learn how to use other things, but it's still gone, and you never forget that it's gone. 4, self-care. It's a must. So that was something I had to learn. I think a lot of us as women, nurturers, naturally we are givers, and we can endure, and we're resilient. We almost forget about others. Forget about ourselves. Extending myself the grace. I'm so great at extending myself grace. And I learned from one of my amazing therapists. She says, well, would you speak to yourself or to a best friend the way you speak to yourself? The same way that you give grace and love to another person and understanding, you deserve that as well. Number 5, addressing unfinished business between you and your parent. So I am so grateful and thankful that before my dad passed, we had a really pivotal, transformative talk about my life, my childhood, where he could have showed up better. And he apologized, and he spoke to me about his experience. And that allowed me to understand my dad as a man, right? Apart from just being my father.
It is sad. It's sad to think that you were living with your grandmother most of your life, and you had such a short time with your dad.
Well, he was always around.
Later,
always around. Yeah, he was always there. I don't want to say he wasn't an absentee father, but for various reasons, he was not able to care for us the way
Okay.
I wanted. But thank God my father was
He was
always
always
there.
there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice to hear, because I was going to say, for him then to have realized after all these years, just before he died, and you had that conversation with him, somewhere in his mind must be something like, could I have been a better father? And
Absolutely.
that is not how we want our parents to think about it, because we love them the way they are, and sometimes we feel that we wish we could have better circumstances, but it's about the choices we make in life that puts us on a path. It can either be the right path or the wrong path, and I don't judge people anymore after I've lost my mom and my dad and my three sisters and my brother. I have put myself in their shoes first before I wanted to judge this and judge that, and think to myself, how can God take them away, in such a young age? But everyone walks their own path in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And we cannot ask these questions and things like that. But how old was your father, you said, when he died?
He was 57 and I was
57.
approaching my 30th birthday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was
That is
pivotal. I
still
mean, when I
so
think about,
young.
yes, when I think about how old I am now in my 40s, I say, oh my goodness, I made it this far.
Yes.
Like I don't take it for granted anymore. Like you say, when you lose somebody so close, or even if they don't have to be close, right? Maybe they're not a close family member, blood related. It still impacts you in such a way where it has to get, I would say, it would
Yes.
cause you to sit and ask yourself, how can I show up better? How can I live more fully? How
Yes.
can I do all the things that my dad didn't have a chance to do? Um, and I honestly, that's why I became an author. I wanted to honor the legacy
Leave
of
a
my
legacy,
father.
yes.
Yes, and that
Yes.
was always about having footprints in this world so people knew I was here. My father was here, my grandmother was here, and all of the things and all of the dreams that they weren't even able to even touch the surface of because they of their sacrifices, that we now can do it, my brother and me, because of the resources we have, the education that we have, the support system that we have, um, all of those things, and the ambition, because we're extremely ambitious. So I
I
I
can
do.
definitely see that.
So I do.
You are a very beautiful woman, and I
Thank
can
you.
just see it in your personality and everything, that you are so ambitious. It is
Thank
amazing
you.
to see
Thank
your
you.
spirit,
Yes.
to meet someone like you with such a great spirit.
Thank you. And you too. I mean,
I
I
can
didn't know your
see it.
story. Yeah, I didn't know your story. And I mean, that just touches my heart to know where this all began for you, giving me hope, right? And how this platform, it's not by happenstance that you named it. You named your platform, Give Me Hope, and that you're sitting down speaking to me. And here it is. I'm thinking I've had a hard life and I've had such losses. And then you're looking across the screen at someone really like your reflection, because we both wearing red. We're both wearing our red lip.
Yeah,
um,
I love red so much, and I can
yes,
see that red is definitely your color as well,
yes, and
And
you
I just had
too.
a feeling that you will wear red, and I'm like, I
Yay.
advertised us on Facebook that we will be speaking today, and
Yeah.
I put the red on as well, my red picture from previously.
Yes, but
And
it's
I
still
thought to
amazing.
myself, wow, you are also a vibrant person, and it's all
Thank
about
you.
self-confidence,
Yeah.
it's that self-confidence that you wear when you wear red.
Yes.
Like, there are so many people looking at you, and why are they looking at you? It's not because of anything wrong, it's because you are so beautiful. That's why.
Thank you. Well, thank you. But what I wanted to say is that, there's more than meets the eye, right? Because
Oh,
look at
yes.
how vibrant you are, right? Look how accomplished you are, as you just showed us your beautiful award and the book that really started everything. And no one would know. No one would know that your story is that rich and that it's that challenging, and the fact that you can still show up each day and smile and create a platform to bring others together, right? To allow them the space to talk about their story, because we weren't talking about it enough. I don't think people knew before the pandemic really how to deal with death in such a rapid rate, right? And it didn't even make sense. Some people I had just spoken to, I just text, were just reaching out to me online, gone. And young people, healthy people, right? There's so much going on. Like you say, it's life is short. We don't know.
Yes,
And
I
so we have
also,
to live.
through the pandemic, I've lost so many friends. And you think, oh, they are so young, and now the wives and the husbands, they must live all by themselves and raise their children and things like that. And just in 2020, I've lost my brother and my sister in 1 year. And that was the last two of my family members that died in that year. But sure, no, if we talk about grief and death and things like that, it is amazing to see how a person, and I'm not talking about me now. I'm talking about you and every single person that I have interviewed on my show already, how strong they are and how they all have uplifted me to make me stronger. Because when you listen to someone else's story, you realize that your story is not so bad. And it gives you strength to continue again for tomorrow. And if I can do that for one person a day, then I am definitely doing something right by God.
Yes, absolutely. You absolutely are. And it allows us to remember that we're not alone.
Yes.
And that is so important, that you're building this community to let people know you are not alone. You have support. There are people that have been where you are, and they made their way out, and you can too. And I think that's really why I'm a storyteller. That's why I'm an author, right? Because, and this is why we go through the struggles. I think when I was younger, in my 20s and my 30s, I would be like, oh my God, what was me? Now I understand when I'm going through something, it's okay. What is the lesson? What are the steps? What is the strategy? What have I gained during that space so that I can now go reach back and give that to someone else?
Exactly. So you said that you have a trailer from your book. Let's quickly take a break and look at that. And we'll be back right after the trailer. And that was her trailer. Now, isn't that amazing? Hey, telling you about all of those different stages of grief. Amazing. If you want to read her books, it will definitely, the links will be above in the description. So just go to the description and look at her links right there to purchase her books. Do you want to tell us about another book or something else that you have been up to?
Yes. Well, as you can see, the books that are right here behind me, Life Chronicles and Real Love Chronicles, I'm so proud of these books because mainly these are my first poetry works that I'm sharing with the world. And I always knew that I wanted to publish a collection. It's called the Life, Love, Loss Poetry Collection. And I am so honored and grateful to the city of Columbus that awarded me my first grant to launch the first book, Life Chronicles, at the top. and my second book, Real Love Chronicles. And that was 24 and 25. And then my last installment of the collection, Life After Loss Chronicles, will be published and launched, also awarded by the city of Columbus in 2026. And that's going to pay homage to everyone I lost.
Wow. So they are all poetry, you say?
Yes. Poetry.
I know that I did not prepare you for this, but do you want to read us a small piece, like one poetry piece?
Absolutely. I love that you asked that. Thank you so much. This is one that I absolutely love, and I perform it quite often across the city. And although I named it in Life Chronicles, in the book, it's called Young Girl You Rock, right? So it was really to affirm myself at the time and to affirm other young girls. So I do this across the city in different conferences, workshops, and of course, schools. But when I do it for open mic, I am always tailoring it for whoever it is I'm speaking to. So I am going to speak to my brother, my sister. And that means that anyone that's watching, man, boy, young, old, child, father, grandfather, I'm speaking to you. And so I'm going to call this My Brother, My Sister. Never, ever forget how beautiful you are. You were created by God, the bright morning star. My brother, my sister, always strive to be your very best. Even when they try to tear you down, call you names, say you're nothing, you keep walking with your head held high and you stick out your chest. Oh, my brother, my sister, take your time walking through this life. Just know that all things work together for your good, even the pain, tears, and strife. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. You are this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. So celebrate your difference and know that you are truly one of a kind. You don't have to be a victim, a prisoner of your own mind. An afterthought. Let them know that your magic cannot be bought. You walk in greatness, for you're more than just your body, your mistakes, your fists. Open up your heart so that you can get this. You have the power to define your own destiny. So just continue to walk through life with purpose and dignity. My brother, my sister, I love you and you're worth it. And I know you don't hear that enough. And sadly, in most cases, you just didn't know. But I'm here to let you know that I see you making progress. So just continue to grow. We are all worthy simply because we are born. And anything worth having is worth the fight as you've weathered the storm. You've been through the fire. You've blossomed beautifully with much to be desired. My brother, my sister, you are a rising star. So never, ever forget how extraordinary you are. My brother, my sister, you rock.
Wow. Wow, that is so beautiful,
Thank you.
To see you saying that, I can see that you actually feel it, and that is so amazing. Wow, that is beautiful.
Thank you. And you can see that, you can watch many variations of that on my social media when I've been out and I've been asked to speak and perform. But that one is one of my favorite. It takes on so many different personalities and forms depending on who I'm speaking to and how it moves the people that I'm talking to. One school I was at, when I said that part, my sister, I love you and you're worth it, she was so taken back because how often do we not hear those words, right, from the people that should love us, or we don't even tell ourselves that we love ourselves, right? And at some point she was moved to tears because it is very rare. And I think even during the pandemic, remember when we weren't able to connect? That was hard. That was hard for me, where I wasn't seeing people, I wasn't touching, I wasn't hugging. And we need all of that for our healing.
Oh, yes, we do. When you were like, I'm going to let it shine,
Oh.
You've got a beautiful voice, by the way.
Thank you.
I also, my very first writings that I did was also some kind of poetry.
Ah, you're a poet too?
I
Uh-oh.
couldn't. I am not a poet like that. My poetry turns into songs.
Oh,
And
okay. We got
that
so much
was
in common.
that was my
Okay.
very first writings, was a few songs which I recorded. And I actually only recently, I think approximately 3 weeks ago, published 5 of my own songs. And
You're gonna put it out so we can hear it. We're gonna
yes,
hear it, right?
if you
Okay.
ask Google or Spotify or YouTube to play
Okay.
Johanna Vendel, you will
Oh, I've
my
gotta go find
songs.
it.
Although I there's only one English song, because I am actually Afrikaans. I speak a different language.
Beautiful
And
though.
my naam is Johanna en ek is gebore in Suid-Afrika.
Oh, that's
En
gorgeous.
ek het Amerika toe getrek in 2016.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. I can't wait to hear it. Whatever
So
language it's in, I know it's gonna sound
so
spectacular.
actually, I said that I am from South Africa. I relocated in 2016 to America. And yes, I'm here to build a better life and a better future for my children. I didn't say that in Afrikaans, but this is what I'm just adding to.
Oh, okay. But
But
thank you for
I'm
the
here
translation.
to do a better job, for my kids, to give them a better life and a better future. Because yeah, I was born and raised in South of Africa.
Wow. Oh my goodness. It's such a pleasure to learn more about you, right? Because a lot of times when you reach out to people and connect with them, like, oh my gosh, let me be on your show. We're having this, organic, natural dialogue that the audience can watch unfold in real time. So I'm excited to learn more. I'm excited to find your music because
If you go
that
on
is
Facebook,
amazing.
on my name, Johanna Maria Vendel,
Okay.
because I am there, and I've got a little blue tick next to my name. If
Oh,
there's no blue tick, then it's not me.
okay. Okay. No, but that's a good thing to point out because
To
as of lately,
verify.
people have been duplicating.
Oh, yes,
And
you
I'm
don't
like,
want
wait
to
a minute, is
know.
this you? And they're messaging me. It's crazy. And it's not who you think it is.
With mine as well. Since I've been an author now and my page has changed,
Okay.
um, there are people who actually made pages of me, and I also live in London now
Wow. Okay. Oh, so you're,
because
oh,
of
I
my
love it.
page, that they made. But that's not me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's not me.
Well, we got
So
to look for the check. Look for the blue check.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Perfect.
And then you can hear my
Okay.
songs there.
Okay. Good. I'm
Yeah, if you
excited.
like it, please share it.
Yes, I'm excited. Congratulations to you. Like you said, this just happened, so it's just so new. But that's amazing. Like I tell people anything that is in your heart to do while you still have breath in your body to do it. Do it. And
Yes.
and as I'm speaking to the audience, I'm speaking to myself about things that I've sat on, ideas. I sat on this idea for I don't know how long. I think the first time I imagined me doing a poetry collection was probably 2016, but it's just now coming to fruition, but it's coming at the right time for me, and it's perfect. And it comes at the tail end of having lost my grandmother, but she being so proud when I became a published author. I'm just so happy and feel blessed and grateful that she was alive to see it before
That is
she left this
amazing.
earth. Yeah.
Yes,
And I know
wow.
that she would be proud in me honoring her in this way. And this last installment, Life After Loss Chronicles, it's set to launch March 2026. I'm excited to talk about her and a lot of the people that I've lost and really paying respect to them. And speaking about maybe the other sides of grief where you wish you had done things differently. You wish you said that. You wish you had picked up that phone call. You wish that you ran to be with them in the final hour and you weren't able to. Now, I was so fortunate to be with my father. I'm the last person with him before he passed, and with my grandmother as well, holding her hand when she took her last breath. And there's something to be said about just having that moment of clarity, but most importantly, the moment of peace, that it is well with my soul and that
Oh,
I'm going to be okay. Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Vernae, unfortunately, the time has run out, but it
Yeah.
was so amazing to hear your story. And
Thank you.
I really am looking forward to meeting you in person maybe
Yes,
one
thank
day
you.
soon.
Yes. I
Will
hope to be
you?
back over in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Wait,
back in 2000 is when I was there.
oh, no, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in America now. I mean, this is where I live, you
Oh,
know.
you live here now. Okay, so you're not in
Yes.
London. Oh,
No,
oh,
that is
oh,
the fake account.
oh no. Oh gosh, they have you in a fake location. Oh, okay, I'm glad you cleared that up because I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh, she's from South Africa, but I know she's American now, but now she lives in London. Okay, so now
Oh,
you are in America. Okay,
yes, no, I'm in America from
okay,
2016, and
okay,
that's why I say only look at the verified account.
okay,
Don't look at the
okay.
others because there are so many people who takes your name and try to do other people in, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very nice speaking to you.
Yes. Thank you so
Um,
much for this.
are you a finalist in the International Impact Book Awards for Author of the Year?
I am not a finalist now. I will say that for the book that I was part of, Pain, Peace, and Purpose, we did receive the impact. Um, yeah, we did receive the impact award. But no, I do believe maybe my sister friend Christina might be a finalist. So I'm excited to
Yes,
root for her.
yes. I know Christina very well, and
Yes, love
um,
her.
I know
Amazing.
that she's also a finalist, and I'm looking so forward to meeting her in life
Oh yes.
in Hollywood, California.
Yes, she was
When
telling us about it. So I'm so excited for her. I can't wait to cheer
yes,
for her.
well,
And it's gonna
I
be
will take a
spectacular.
picture with her, and you will see us both in
Yay!
one picture.
Yes.
I thought maybe I would meet you as well, but maybe a next time. Hey.
Yes, maybe next time.
Well, thank you so much for being on my show,
Thank you.
Vernae.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say Vernae has got an amazing story. And if you want to buy any of her books, like I said previously, her links will be above in the description. And if you have not yet seen or read my books, I have 3 books that is published at this moment. It is Life Think Again, which is on that site right there. And then I also have Navigating Through Losses and Grief, which is also a book where people can read it after the loss of someone special and that is deeply hurt inside. That is a book that you can then read to help to make that hurt a little bit easier. And it helps you to tell you maybe try this, try that, do this, do that, because sometimes when we are broken, we do not know what we should do at the time. And we just want to lie in our beds and we don't want to do anything. But if you read that book, it will definitely tell you to get up and live your life to the fullest, because the people that we have lost in our lives would not want us to lie in our bed crying about them all the time. They would want us to talk about them. So go to a friend, go out there and just speak to anybody, and go talk about your people, because that is what heals our hearts, is when we speak about them. So then after a while, I have had so much grief that I realized that I was actually wearing a mask for 27 years of my life. I wore a mask to cover up all my hurt, carrying my smile during the day so people think I'm okay, but I wasn't. So my third book is still brand new, which I just published 2 months ago, and it is called Unseen Tears Beneath the Mask. And this book tells you how I removed my mask, and how I can speak to you today with this strong, powerful voice, because I want to let people know that there is a tomorrow, and we have to live our lives to the fullest today, because today is the only day we have, because we don't know if tomorrow is going to be there. So this is a very powerful book if you would like to go read that as well. I am very glad that you are with us today and that you have listened to this beautiful story of Vernae Taylor. And I, again, thank her for being on my show. We will be back next week with another amazing show. I will see you then. Have a good day and goodbye.
This has been Give Me Hope with your host, Johanna Vendel. Join Johanna each week and harness the transformative power of storytelling to facilitate healing and growth.